Oh my goodness. Seriously, I have to just do it. It's like I can tell myself I don't have to think about things that don't matter.
I was designed to do those things. How the hell does this guy know this about me?
It's impossible to not see.
When Dan read for my sister, she was like, he's psychic. She's like, how did you know that?
Yes.
She's like, it's human design, guys. Like, it's just a testimony of how legit it is.
Seriously, Danny was like FBI or CIA. Like, how the hell does this guy know this about me?
Having my chart read, they were just thing after thing after thing that I was just like, wow, that's me.
This man is reading me and I've never met him before.
I was in the midst of one of the biggest emotional waves I've ever been in my life, and he saved my life.
It seems like everybody has the same reaction. It's that aha moment, and they want to find out more. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Human Design Advantage podcast. My name is Jen, and we have who's decoding the matrix for us, Dan.
How's it going, guys? Can't wait to do this.
I know we're on season 2. Super excited. We made it through season 1, and we are really rocking and rolling for season 2 already.
We're already there.
I know. How are you today, Dan?
I'm doing really good, actually, Jen. I found the right picture.
Well, perfect. Send it to me, and then I'll let you dive into what we're going to be going over. Before we get started, guys, please make sure you like, subscribe, and follow to the channel. Thank you, everybody who tuned in to season 1. If you haven't, please make sure to check the links down below. I'll go ahead and link the very first episode where it's like a class. If you're wanting to learn human design, we're going to recommend starting with season 1, episode 1.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's exactly what they should do. I just emailed that to you. We're going to be talking about the individual way today. And
perfect.
What we're trying to do, Jen, in our decoding of the matrix is we're trying to basically, we're calling it a conspiracy to awaken. This is a conspiracy to awaken because it's time we de-emphasize this word conspiracy. Everyone throws it about as if it's only a theory. A conspiracy is simply a plan. Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I have a conspiracy to make it to the grocery store on time today. So we're having a conspiracy to decode the matrix for people, and we need to liberate the individual. And that's what we're going to be dealing with. And I think people will resonate with this so deeply. Everyone's got individual definition, and it's the individuals that make up the tribe and the collective. So let's wake some people up. Kabam.
It's time we do that.
Yeah. Do you want to get on? You know what? I'm dying. I can't wait. Our very dear friend Tressa is on. Tressa Lee Bell Rivera. Tressa, I know you as Tressa Lee Bell, but I know it's Tressa Rivera. And we're going to do this, just a short interview, I guess, at this moment, because Tressa, it's been such a wonderful, it's been so good teaching. It's been so good feeling you learn. It's been so good watching it all. You know what I mean? The idea is to make a big front line of people who can teach and read.
It's imperative that we have that right now.
Yep.
Welcome, Tressa.
Yeah.
Welcome, Tressa.
Hi, thank you guys for having me. Yeah.
Wouldn't have it any other way.
Do you want to give us a little introduction and our guest and tell them who you are, what you do, and...
Yes, yeah. So my name is Tressa Rivera. I am a hypnotherapist. And before I found human design, I was doing hypnotherapy, working with the unconscious mind, not really understanding that people were designed in a certain way. When I found Danny, my whole world changed. I found out my type. I started following my strategy and authority. And I realized that if I knew my clients' types and strategy and authority, if I knew my clients' design, I would be able to serve them to help clean out their unconscious mind so that they could live in their true self with all of that stuff that they weren't. But I didn't know their design. And so I was really highly motivated, mostly for selfish purposes, so that I could understand my design, to learn more about human design. So I had a first initial reading with Danny. My mind was blown. I needed more. I called him up a few days later. Let's do another one. I called him up a few days later. Let's do my husband. I called him up a few days later. Let's do my kids. And it just kind of turned into this, the brilliance of Danny, and my desire to learn and know. And we've been doing this for, I've been learning from Danny for, I want to say about 10 months now.
It's been about 10 months.
Yeah, starting from the beginning, right?
Yep.
We started from the beginning and we just went through everything. And right now, where I am in my studies is in diving into the specific gates and the specific lines and understanding how to keynote charts and all of that stuff. So it's been a wild ride. And the work that I've been able to do with my clients, you guys, it's changed everything for me. I'm able to serve them in a way that I would not be able to without human design. So it's really exciting for me.
Well, we have a rather unorthodox version of teaching people, Tressa, here at the Human Design Advantage, now that we're all official and all.
So cool.
But it's still just us. It's always one-on-one. Tell people a little bit about what it's like, because it's not class. We don't sit in a classroom.
The greatest thing about this style of learning is that when you're in a classroom, it's again a homogenized way of learning. There is curriculum, and all of you are here to learn the same curriculum. Danny, when he's teaching me, he takes my type into account. And I'm a manifester. I'm not a pure generator in a sense where there's this need to learn step by step, line by line. And so he's able to curate the information according to where I am and what I need to learn and where I'm going next. And it really isn't orthodox. It's so personal. Danny's so much more to me than a teacher. He is friend. He is family. That's to the place where I am with my my love for Danny. And I couldn't imagine where I'd be in my life right now without our weekly, often more than one time a week, lessons, one-on-one phone calls with each other.
How about the mania, Tressa? You and I, when we get on the phone, there's mania. We're so excited. Time goes by. You forget that you're a manifestor, and I forget that I'm a manifesting generator. And we just
go. Yep.
No topic is out of bounds is the thing. So we go, and then we start at the basics. And we get you just sort of understanding. But it was always my feeling that how can I really teach if I haven't actually read for the person and gotten them into their process of entering their experiment, of witnessing their design.
Yeah.
So they seem to go hand in hand. And once you do that, it's no longer a classroom setting. So people, when you come on to learn, guys, when you come on to learn with me, it's one-on-one, and it's often, and it's day and night, and it's whenever you call, and it's on you to call, or else I'll hound you. And it's one-on-one. Yep, we get through it all. There's no stopping until we get you to where and we get through everything.
Yeah, and the important thing about this is that, Danny can teach you the mechanics of human design, but like he said, you have to be in your own experiment. All of that means nothing. It means nothing unless you live it and you be it. I've heard Ra say multiple times that and Danny has said this to me multiple times, that everybody has their own personal I Ching inside of them, which means your translation and reflection of human design is going to change based upon your personal experience. How does this information reflect itself in life? And you can't know that until you're living out your strategy and your authority. Mm-hmm. And so it's a beautiful combination where I get to come back to Danny and say, I heard you say these words, and this is my personal life experience around this channel and around these words. And then our brains go, and then we just go back and forth and learn and expand even more. So
the ability to epiphanize and have these new insights just come pouring in is just striking. Do you remember in the beginning, Tressa? So I run into this with almost everyone. In the beginning, there's like, oh my God, how can I ever hope to know all this stuff? Do you remember the initial resistance?
Yes.
There's always an initial resistance.
Yeah. And it's overwhelming.
Yeah. Describe that initial resistance. The very first time I would tell you some things, and it would fly right in the face of conventional wisdom, and frankly, we would want to call it out. It's like, I don't know if that's true. That's not me.
Oh, yeah. Yes, multiple times. I remember looking at my incarnation cross for the first time, especially my sun sign in gate 55, line 6. And the not selfie, the detriment underneath it had something about, I don't know if it was just like materialistic selfishness, something around those lines. It was very confusing for me. I was like, this doesn't sound like me. I don't know about this. And you get on a call with Danny, and he helps you understand that it's not just that one thing. He took my entire design around that and helped me to understand the true meaning of it. I had so many instances like that. And it was all of this information at once. And of course, as a manifester or, even a manifesting generator, that manifestor energy, we want it now. I want to know everything right now. I want to do it now. And so that was really frustrating for me to have to accept that I'm not going to, there is so much information. I'm not going to be able to know it all right now. And also a beautiful process for me to like take it back and say, it's okay that I don't know this, because the deconditioning process is 7 years. Your mind, we can decondition your mind. We can use hypnotherapy to clean out your unconscious mind, but your body at a cellular level regenerates every 7 years. There's no getting around that. So you're going to be in this experiment. That's the one thing Danny's helped me understand. Chill out, Tress. You don't need to learn it all right this second. You're going to be here for a minute. It's okay to take off small bites and to assimilate the information and take another small bite. And I feel like that's kind of the place that I'm in now. And all of a sudden, it's all coming together. I'm looking at a chart. I'm remembering things. I'm able to keynote. I'm doing chart readings for my clients. It's freaking magical, you guys. It's a really magical experience.
That's exactly what teaching does. So now anyone who wants to know, if you want to know what it's like to be taught and for me to teach you, you're hearing a first-hand live example. You want to become your own guru and your own like personal little reader where you can read the matrix yourself, dial it in. Let's get you on board. We need you, and we're offering an exchange. Jen, do you want to explain a little bit about this exchange that we're offering people?
Yes, for helping us grow this mission.
Yes.
Danny is offering his service. If anybody wants to be interviewed to come on to join the team, we need help growing this massive ship because we do have a mission to help wake up everybody to their human design. And like Tressa mentioned, it is 7 years of deconditioning. And so the faster that we get people awake, the faster that we can get the word out, the faster we can help humanity. So if you are interested, please reach out. And the first entry point into all of this is to make sure that you get your reading with Dan.
Absolutely.
All the links are down below to find that.
And I'm accepting donations. We need some donations, obviously, but all in all, the thousands of dollars you would normally spend to learn how to read human design, we're truncating that down to some donations, and you giving us some of your energy to help grow this thing. That means
yes,
media, your care. Really, it's your love and care is really what it is. And I'll trade you for some love and care.
Yeah, that's and most of the everybody who watches or people that see this, we want to implement that honest energy exchange back into the collective. Being in a spiritual community, I hear it all the time. It's important that we get back to that. So you hit the nail on the head. Exactly. That love and care.
Love and care. Give us your love and care. We'll grow this thing without having to spend a ton of money back and forth between everyone. Money's an outdated, archaic concept anyways. We just haven't quite gotten used to that yet. But I'll say it right now. It's a terrible crying shame that we choose to take 80% of our love and our life force energy, pour it into a job. 70-80% of that life goes into that job by most people, only to convert that love and energy into paper money. What the hell's that all about? So you spend all that to do that in the hopes that later you can reconvert and re-expand that money back into your own life force. So we're going from here, dropping it down here to pick up the paper money with all this life force here. And the next thing you know, we're going up over here to reconvert it back into our life. That's a bad system. That any scientist looking at that would say, hey, this is a wasteful system. Any engineer looking at that would be like, you're losing most of your power. Nobody can look at that system and say it's actually smart. Having said that, we're in the middle of it, but we're going to buck that system. And I'm certain the forces above us, Jen, they're not going to want to see us being happy without their slimy green money. So
Absolutely.
or doing with a lot less of it. We all still need to make it. I get it, but we will be able to do a lot of stuff with a lot less of it. I suspect that they know this information enough to realize the new 9-centered human, the individual way, could care less. And if everyone's doing stuff they're happy about, people wouldn't even really care so much to have to exchange money per se, as long as things were getting what they need. And they don't want us to discover that, because we'll run with it. We will run with it. You mean I don't have to give up my life to convert it into, money, only to reconvert it later and hope that somehow or other I get back my joy that I just dumped 80% of into a job, So it's a bad conversion ratio, bottom line.
Can I add something that I just feel like it's important for especially if you're new to human design. If you've never had a professional chart analysis, and with all of that being said about money, Danny, I got to say I agree with you. But like you said, this is where we are. We are in a system that has money. I could not put a dollar amount behind what the human design system has done for me. That is how invaluable the human design information was. And sometimes I think about it like this. What is living as your not self costing you on a daily basis?
Lots.
If you're frustrated, if you're angry, if you're bitter, if you are running up against walls all day, every day, and you found human design, and here is this energetic key that can unlock all of these doors for you, what is that worth to you? You see other people like me who said, I didn't know anything about human design. I didn't know anything about astrology when I met Danny. And here I am living my strategy and authority. Everything in my life has fallen into place effortlessly since I found human design. What is that worth to me? We're talking monetary, we're talking about energy, we're talking about support, sending this podcast around. You guys, if you've never had a professional reading, get on board with Danny, because what you're going to get out of human design, I guarantee you, there is no dollar amount that you can put behind the exchange that human design will give you.
I came up with a dollar amount.
There is a dollar amount.
Yeah. So I am still a mortgage broker after all, at least in my day job. But I did come up with a dollar amount. I say a week's worth of reading, it's worth about $50,000. Yeah. That's what I say to the average family. I'll spend a week with you, going in and day out, and talk about your kids, integrating it with you, and I'd say that's worth about $50,000.
And you think about a lifetime worth of resistance, not knowing that information, I guarantee it's costing a hell of a lot more than $50,000.
Promise.
You're losing so much time. You're losing so much money in the mental frustration and the mental come up of what you're not. So in the long run, no matter what, human design is worth it.
Yep. Absolutely.
That's
So
my
I placed a dollar value on it, Tressa, because I do know I'm not naive, guys. We're going to be charging. We need to earn money. We need to monetize this. We need people's support. But in all those moments where I'm teaching and they're giving back their energy, helping to promote this thing, that's a score. And I'm willing to do that. So I didn't mean to make light of the fact that everyone needs to earn money. We obviously need that. It's no brainer.
And it's important. And human design is worth the money.
Yeah.
Having an initial chart reading for, I think I paid $150, I think $125, $150 for my initial chart reading. I would pay double that in a heartbeat if I knew what I was going to get out of human design in a heartbeat. So I'm just saying, drop the money.
Saves years in therapy.
Yeah.
Saves years in therapy. The amount of money that you would put in therapy.
All day long. And, ultimately, we're going to come up against the sciences. They're going to have to integrate this. We're going to come up against psychology and psychological disciplines. They're going to have to integrate this. And I'll throw a challenge out there. You can give me any Harvard team of professors, bring a client that has some kind of mental disorder that you say is a problem. And I'll put my simple little self up against that. And we'll see who does better with this human being who just needs to wake up. I can't guarantee that with there's actual mental defect or things missing in the brain upon birth or stuff like that. I'm talking about the person with, bipolar, this, that, they're depressed, they're clinically depressed, all of these things. Name some things, Tressa, or
ADD is a huge one I see. People are diagnosed with ADD, anxiety, depression, sadness, melancholy. I must be depressed. There must be something. No, there's not. You have individual circuitry running through you. Back to the beginning, all individuals fall into melancholy. That is normal for you.
Savannah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, Savannah said, yes, my friend who got her chart ready by Dan said she gained more clarity and answers than she did with years of therapy. I can testify to that.
Savannah had a comment a moment earlier, too.
Human design helps you become aware of those things inside your personality.
They really do. Anxiety is a tough one. I can't necessarily say I'll read for someone and their anxiety is going to actually go away. They'll just learn to cope with it. It'll show up until they go through their deconditioning process.
Yeah. And a big part of that anxiety, by the way, if you're suffering from anxiety, hypnotherapy is amazing. Just saying, some of these quote unquote mental disorders are actually suppressed negative emotions and limiting beliefs from your childhood because you were conditioned to be raised in a design of something that you are not.
Right.
So, and again, it's like that open head. And even if you have a defined head, that's always doing this, thinking about things that don't matter with an open head that's in and out of this, It's so cool for me to be able to work with hypnotherapy and the unconscious mind and these type of mental illness and wellness disorders and see the charts of people that I'm looking at. Because I know, and I get to correlate certain gates and certain definitions and certain channels with their conditioning, and I would love to see that. Can you?
I've yet to meet an eating disorder that didn't have an emotional definition between the root and the solar plex and or gates in there. I've yet to meet a clinical depression that didn't have some hanging gates between the root and the sacral and the format energies. I've yet to meet an ADD person who wasn't open root and or a manifesting generator, and on and on and on and on and on. So I've yet to actually meet, it's on and on. These clinical terms they come up with in psychology, think about that. If we look at the binary wheel, that's just the personality making up these assertions. That's not in touch with the design of the actual being. All this stuff is made up. They don't know. If anyone who's been to a talk doctor long enough, you recognize they may love you and they've probably helped some, but if you look down deep, they don't know. And it's not their fault. So quit spending tens of thousands on therapy stuff and come on over here because Dr. Dan will make sure that some of that goes away. Jennifer, something's burning away and you thinking something?
No, I'm just listening.
Right. So Tressa, we're going to start to, what I figured we would do is we're going to start liberating the human beings. And I don't know if that slide is ready. We got to liberate these.
I know I didn't get it. I sent you, I tried to send you a private chat. I did not get the picture.
I have my book.
Well, that's because I was hitting send and I've neglected to hit send. You have it now.
Oh, okay.
I'll just start talking. So in the first season, we went through the circuitry. We went through definition. I wouldn't have gone channel by channel per se, but we went through the mechanics of what is this individual versus the collective integration, all of that. What's the tribe doing? In the first season, we went through a whole ton of why the tribe and the collective are basically at war with each other. Yet the collective and the tribe are made up of all the individuals. And the tribe doesn't mind the individual. They respect them. They'll let them in. The tribe is always aware they need new blood. But the collective, they don't want to hear from the individual. Once the rule is set and homogenized in place, they want one size fits all for all the individuals. And that's a terrible, terrible tragedy. So I can only imagine the individuals in those Davos crowds and those places where you can see I'm trying to imagine trying to be an individual working for Justin Trudeau or Or I'm trying to imagine the individual way of Jen Psaki having to do what she does each night, and plenty of commentators and various people. It's just, I look at them and I feel sorry for them. It's so bad. The trial between Johnny Depp and Heather Heard, and on and on and on and on and on. All these people that just aren't aware. So what we're looking at here is, this is the individual circuitry within the body graph. You always notice the body graph looks like a circuit board, because it is. It contains the genetic imprinting that is going to be analogous and literally the ways in which you will live out your life, the character, the content, the role you're going to play, ultimately your own mythology of who you are. And it all starts with the creative pulse that happens inside of individuality. So all of this definition you see here, definition means a whole channel from one gate to another. All of this definition you see in here carries very important individual things. It carries melancholy and happiness. You know, that's this sort of spiking wave between sadness and happiness. You get melancholy from individuality. You get this from individuality will always give you the sense that life is difficult, because you got the channel of struggle. So life's a struggle. You know, you're a manifesting generator with 3024, and you realize, I want to go fast, but I can't. I run into resistance. You know, you got the channel of initiation, and you get the melancholy, because if there's nothing new to initiate, then you feel insignificant, and there's nothing new under the sun. On and on and on. All of this stuff happens in a pulse. That's the motion of individuality. There are these frequencies between the circuitries. You can see from all the white lines, there's other circuitry in here, but we're just dealing with individuality. The frequency of individuality is, it's in a pulse, and it's mutative, meaning it's always bringing something new. And the thing is, that pulse is outside of our control. It's independent of will. You can't will it to happen. If anyone ever sat down to a blank canvas saying they're going to paint a beautiful picture, as soon as they say they're going to paint the picture, the canvas stays blank. But when they wake up in the middle of the night or walk in and weren't thinking about it and start painting something, the canvas fills up. That's the pulse. It's like an individuality fits the very definition of what God calls creation. You know, it is the actual definition of creation, because before the pulse, it's not there. And as the pulse hits in a flash, suddenly it's there. So that's the definition of creation. It goes from it's not there, and then it's there. It was created. This creative way of the individual is 100% individual. It is it's not shared. It's here to empower people, and it's literally here to mutate people, meaning bring something new. And while the tribe ruffles at too much new things, they'll accept it because they need it. It's the tribal way. It's required to support things. The collective just wants to share. They just want to share, and they share their good stuff. And let me share my really crappy idea with you. We're going to reset and have a new world order. You know, let me share that with you. And at that point, they don't want the individual. You watch mainstream media, and those guys are automatons, and they do exactly as they're told, and they toe a line, and they all toe the same line. If it's important enough, you flick between 50 channels, and they're all saying the exact same thing. And that's homogenized non-individuality. So we're here, we're going to liberate this individual way. And Tressa, have you ever seen a body graph that didn't have either individual definition or individual gates? I've yet to see one.
Absolutely not.
Yep.
Yeah, no, I just actually did a couple hypnotherapy sessions for a reflector. And even reflectors have individual gates. They might not be activated every single day, but every single chart has individual definition in it. Absolutely.
Statistically speaking, there could be a chart. There will be a chart on this planet, or two or three or whatever, that actually have no individual gates in it. Statistically, it'll show up as a mathematical statistical likelihood somewhere, but that's not the point. They live in an individual world, and everything new under the sun has been mutated and born into this world through the arduous, difficult process of being the individual and having to mutate the other into recognizing the new thing. It can be anything. Human design is a mutative system, and the only way to get it into the being is through their individual definition. They will have to basically hear it. So the pulse, all of the various things that are individuality, but the mutativeness in a pulse, that's the rhythm of this individual definition. It's not in a wave like the emotion experiential wave. It's not focused and concentrated over all of time like mental awareness. It's not focused and penetrating and concentrated like the format that is that brings the logical system online. It is unique. It is special. Pick up some words for individuality, guys. Help me out here. It's inspiring. It's there's only one like it. It never happened before.
Yeah, they're unique. Sorry, they're sovereign. Yeah, they're freaks.
Freaks.
Be honest. Let's just say it.
Yeah.
They're
Thank
freaks.
you, Tressa.
They beat to
We're
the beat
freaks.
of their own drum. They don't want to be told what to do. They want to be their own unique self. They're the ones that are wearing the colorful clothing and the colorful hair, and they're unique. You know.
Well, Tressa, let's look at it clinically speaking. We all are that. Yet we only see a very small representative version of that out in the world.
Yeah.
Tiny.
Sovereign.
Yes, the sovereigns. Exactly.
You're sovereign.
And they
If
stand
you're
out.
sovereign, you're all those things. So
Right.
I would.
Yeah.
Right. And they stand out.
But
Go ahead.
we have this, and we talk about this in psychology and hypnotherapy, this persona. We all wear this social mask. And part of the detriment in living in a homogenized community is that that persona doesn't allow for the individual expression that needs to be expressed. There's so many people walking around with that individual definition who are holding it back because they have to be a businessman or a teacher or whatever their persona is.
Or they're afraid and don't know how to fit in with it, so they stuff it.
Yeah.
But I think that goes along with anybody.
That's right.
Every person, doesn't matter where you're at, whether you're in the business world or a stay-at-home mom.
Right.
Yeah.
You've got a mask on, even with yourself.
Yeah.
So
a lot of people, they don't understand. They wear this mask for so long, they forget that they're wearing it.
Yes.
And there's a big disconnect. And because you work with the unconscious mind as well. So you're aware, Jennifer, that like a lot of times people forget that there is this deeper part of themselves, and they lose touch with that and with their own unique individuality. They just lose touch with it.
Yes, and most of them aren't even taught because of the container that we are in teaches them it's easier to put on a mask than because it's no one's free. When you hit the nail on the head earlier, it's the freaks, it's the ones that are doing something different. That's the abnormal. But in reality, I feel like the abnormal is the normal.
It is. It is. And that's what we need to get to. We need to let everybody's freaky flag fly. And when you really look at it, nobody fully lets their flag fly in that way.
No.
And so liberating the individual through their design so that they can wake up out of the matrix and we can red pill you is going to allow you to stop being what others are telling you to being. What's the psychological term, if anyone knows, for when you're stuffing it? That's what they called it in AA when I had attended a few AA meetings with friends of mine that needed support. They called it stuffing it. Now that seems like a clinical enough term to me. You stuff it. You stuff it.
Yes,
Suppress
what
it.
I call it. I was just going to say that's what I call it. I don't know. I don't think I've ever heard of a specific term.
Yeah.
But
You suppress it.
As you suppress this individuality, you're suppressing your life force is the thing, and you know it. Anybody watching this knows you are aware that you're lying to yourself, and take the word lie out of it, that it's not true. Go with that. It's literally, it's what is it that you're suppressing? It's not true that it's supposed to be suppressed, kept quiet, not spoken, not acted out, not contributed. None of these things are true. Again, if you've got the design of 3828, that's a design of stubbornness. You're here to basically be stubborn and try and fight for a purpose. You're here fighting for a purpose, and you can't help it. Now that will seem like a freak to others at times. And so what do? You suppress it. at least in front of the other, and you avoid letting that fly. So we need to get this out in people so that they stop being homogenized by the collective mostly. The tribe does it too, but I'll take tribal homogenization over collective homogenization any day, at least in America, at least here I will, because we seem to have figured out that. Have you noticed all the footage behind the scenes? Everybody just wants to love everybody else. This great American or North American continent's experiment since 1781 has been rocking and rolling pretty good, and everyone I see, they want love to return. And I say, good nine-centered being, you're starting to see that's our way. And to get there, we need to liberate this thing from people. So as the as these podcast episodes go on, I'm pretty sure I'm going to start taking this gate by gate along with the other circuitries to show how they get taken away from it, gate by gate, line by line. That's why it'll take about 3 more episodes to really get through this stuff.
Savannah said, if you have individual gates part of Carnation Cross or Conscious Sun and Earth, they tend to be okay with being different from the group or tribe.
They're going to be far more okay with being different. And if they're not, then they're going to be far worse off into their not self and into who they are not. That's the Sun Earth absolutely makes more pronounced the meaning of the gate, the value of that gate in your body graph. No question. Savannah, too bad you can't come on, because I know you have this individual way in you. You're a perfected form. You could tell us about how this splenic definition works in you. But if not, go ahead.
Sorry, Danny. I'm just awkwardly cutting everybody off. I was hearing what you were saying about this push for love. And I think that it's really important to talk about, especially with this individual melancholy that comes over, where there is this desire to love, and that's a beautiful thing. But what's happening, what we see right now in our society, is this distorted push for positivity. I've been talking a lot about it on my own social media channel, where it's this toxic positivity. And what does toxic positivity say? It's not okay to be melancholy. It's not okay to be sad. And so now we're kind of in this society where the individual will go through these melancholic pulses, and then they don't let themselves do that because they are distorted in their idea of what positivity is. And that is in itself a suppression of the individual, because the individual needs to feel melancholy. Those periods of melancholy, that is where the individual is creative. That's where the mutation comes from. It's not bad to be melancholy, as long as you let yourself feel those feelings. But the second you cover it up, you suppress it. And now you have all sorts of suppressed emotions and shame and guilt, and you're putting a big fat happy sticker on top of it. It's a Band-Aid. You're not truly expressing yourself.
One of those yellow smiley faces on a pile of shit.
That's exactly what it is.
That's real good. That makes sense.
I'm happy. I'm toxically positive. I know personally, and me and Danny have been through this. I've personally been dealing with that in my deconditioning myself and in my relationship, and really understanding the fact that, like, I have individual circuitry, and it's okay when I feel melancholy. There's nothing wrong with me. It doesn't mean that I'm not a positive person. It doesn't mean that I don't have a happy life. It means I'm an individual and a freaking human being, and I have emotions, and to feel your emotions is the only way that you don't. My new favorite saying is, you either express it or you suppress it. So it's okay to be melancholy. Like, let's get rid of this idea of everybody has to be toxically positive every second of the day. You don't.
Toxic
it's
positivity.
Okay to be melancholy.
It's just the worst. And it's such a woke concept, this toxic positivity. It really just doesn't belong here on the plane. When we are awake and aware and someone is sad, we won't ask them, hey, what's the matter? We might just ask, melancholy today? You feeling sad today? Yep. Okay, I'll make sure they keep some space for you. Need anything? No, I don't need anything.
That would be so nice.
Yeah, especially between like boyfriends and girlfriends.
Yeah.
Between partners, shall we say, between partners. So that one partner isn't pressing the other. No, really, what is it? What's wrong? As soon as you do that, your mind gets involved and starts thinking it can think up an answer for what the heck is happening, but it's really just a chemistry underneath.
Yes.
It's the chemistry.
Yes.
Mhm.
And then even when you, yes, I completely agree, because deconditioning and paying attention to my own design and how I interact with other people, I've had a scenario that way. And I'm learning how to effectively communicate with somebody that's not awake in that, you know, I'm aware, I'm feeling this way. It has nothing to do with you. I don't even know what it has to do with. Please don't read into it too much. And because people are not aware of what's going on or their human design, some other people can take it as it's a reflection of them when it really doesn't have anything to do with them.
Not personal.
And me learning more about my design, I'm trying to take the back seat so I can observe just my emotions of what's going on. So maybe I can gain a better understanding of doing it. But yes.
It's not personal, Jen.
It's not. No, I know it's not personal.
Right. That's what you want to say.
Sometimes I don't even know why.
Right.
Mhm.
But that's what you want to say to them. It's not personal. And they don't hear that. They don't. They hear you pulling away. They hear something's different. They hear, oh, there's something wrong. They hear, I need to ask, oh, what is it? Is it me? What did I do? Oh, none of it's true.
Yes.
Mhm.
What were you going to say, Tressa?
But it's from their own conditioning. It's from their own suppressed negative emotions and limiting beliefs from their childhood. And that can be cleaned up. If you feel yourself triggered, if your partner is feeling emotions and you feel like you need to fix your partner, guess what? You have some shit in your unconscious mind that needs to be cleaned out, because that's the only reason why you're trying to change them. Because you feel shame, you feel guilt, you feel like they don't like you because of some obscured limiting belief or conditioning from your own childhood, you know? And so just like really taking a step back and recognizing our society is trying to cancel our emotions. They're trying to say it's not okay for your partner to be upset. It's not okay for you to be angry. It's not okay. And it is. Figure out what inside of you.
How about this one? All the stuff you put on Twitter has got to make me feel good. You can't make me feel bad with your words. Well, you know, good luck with that.
I'm offended.
Yeah, I'm offended by that. I'm truly offended by that.
Yeah.
Like Elon said, I hope even my worst critics stay on Twitter. That's what he said. He's right.
Yeah.
Offense
is an emotional prison, because when you decide that offense is a choice, that is sovereign. That's sovereignty. That's your choice to be offended, because you're cleaned up, you're whole, you're living your true design.
Right.
Recognizing that others are doing the same. There's no offense in that. There's only truth in the now, in the self, in your design.
Right. And it's that truth that through the individual's expression. So
hot topic, Danny.
As I read for you guys, as I read for people in the future, and Tressa, you're reading for people now. As we read for people more and more, we're going to focus on this individual definition plenty, so that you can start to see the magistry. If you look at this picture, please notice individual circuitry touches every center in a continuous definition. In other words, you can put your pencil down on gate 61 at the very top of the body graph, and you can draw a line through all the centers without ever having to pick your pen up. You might retrace a little bit, but you'll never have to pick it up, because all the centers are touched with individuality. And that is not true with the other circuitry. All the circuitry is here to support and rise up the individual so that their individual freak can be themselves. And guys, don't take this word freak too crazy. Everyone knows you're a freak. If you're watching this, hi, you're a freak. That's okay. We love you. You're a freak.
Mm-hmm.
There's something about you that is a freak. You know, if you've got the 14-2, you know, you're a freak trying to push a direction. You know, if you've got 34-10, you're a freak. You're always looking inward, and you're not always necessarily listening to the other at first when they say stuff, because you're busy coming up with the next mutative thing that's going to be important. And on and on and on. If you got 62-3, gate 63 down at the bottom, the format channel of the individual way, which is in a pulse, this channel of mutation. You're totally a freak because you feel limited until suddenly in a flash ordering comes and everything that was sucked got transcended and put into an order. And you look back over it and you realize all I had to do was surrender to the limitation I was feeling in the first place. And ordering and structuring came and it got put into order. And that beautiful sacral center can do all its busy buzzing work, what it does, bringing that mutation into the life, into the world. So mutations belong into the world, and mutation is just a fancy word for something new, newness. And every time an individual has a bright idea, you got the channel of structuring, 4323, genius to freak. Well, you're a freak if you can't explain it because you got all these concepts going through, and you're a genius if you can explain it. But none of that helps if the timing isn't right. You're not following your strategy and authority because you'll start trying to talk when others aren't listening. And so you look like a freak. Well, it doesn't mean the mutative pulse wasn't there in that freak of yours that knew what to say next.
You keep saying that word.
What?
Well, I see. I abracadabra, words, magic, and I looked up the definition of freak, and I don't really like what they have to say about that.
Well, it's
word.
all whatever they have to say. It's a homogenized dictionary, dude. What do they say?
It is behavior caused to behave in a wild and irrational way, typically because of the effects of extreme emotion, mental illness, or drugs. Yeah. Or a person, animal, or plant with an unusual physical abnormality. But going back to human, if we're going to decondition, I like to decondition everything. Terms mean things, and we say words without the true definition of what we're saying. So when you said that, I got to looking because that's a deconditioning thing, and we are about deconditioning. And when I read that, I was like, So,
well, none of that definition fits the phrase that we've all said. Everyone said that says, "Let your freaky flag fly."
I'm well aware of that, but we use other words in the collective that circle around that we say, like
what do you got?
Good morning. Morning is mourning your death. So we say good death to everybody every morning.
Oh, good God, you're right.
So that's what I mean when we go to deconditioning.
Right.
So I don't say good morning. I say grand rising because I don't want to mourn your death. I want to. So that's, never looked up the definition of freak. When you kept saying freak, and I was like, now that I know the definition, that's just where my mind went.
Yeah, well,
I like it even more personally because what you said, it said something about illogical. Say the word again. Read the definition again.
Behave or cause to behave in a wild and irrational way, typically because of the effects of extreme emotion, mental illness, or drugs.
When I hear that, what I see, extreme and an irrational way, I hear a conditioned being run by the mind using their conscious, logical awareness to understand what rationality is. Guess what? The individual circuitry has to do with our physical bodies, especially if it's in your design side. So your body is acting out in a way that it needs to act for its individuality, and somebody's rational mind comes in and says, well, that's not logical and rational. Yes, it is. Yes, it is, because the mind cannot understand the body, and that's the whole point of human design, is to put the mind in the passenger seat, to let the body do what the body needs to do. And the mind doesn't understand that these emotions, what society calls mental disorders, again, bringing it back to the beginning, that is the language of the unconscious mind. Your unconscious mind is 95% of your brain power, 95% of it, right? Yep. And so it truly is allowing the body to speak beyond what the mind believes. That definition makes me like the word freak even more.
Yeah.
I am a freak. Danny, you are a freak.
I'm a freaking freak. Okay? Jennifer, you want to join us? We all know you're a freak.
Yes, we all know that I'm a freak.
Here I am bursting your bubble with my 16 line 2. I am very sorry. I am a bubble burster.
You're 16 line 2 as well?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a 16-line too as well. Yeah. So
That's why we like each other.
oh,
we
that'll do
burst
it.
each other's
Companionship.
bubbles.
So people with
Yeah.
individual definition that are in a couple, this is incredible companionship. They have the same, well, they have the potential for similar freakiness. And guys, let's talk about freakiness for a second, because we need to extend, maybe we should submit an update to the definition to Merriam-Webster's or whoever, or get it into the Urban Dictionary. They accept submissions, alterations to the words. So if we try to sort of we need to redefine this word freak and freakiness. It just means something new. I'm sorry, every time someone brings something new, people think that they're being freaky. That's what it is. And it's not every time, but it's often. You bring something new and whatever it is, an idea, a concept, a way, a method, a methodology, a new science, a new medical procedure, whatever it is, people think that's just freaky. That's no good. And that's an homogenized collective view of things that is just, it's not true. So I would like to redefine this freak to just be called the individual. I'm sorry, every individual is a freak. They have their freak ways, and we need them. We need them all. With no freak Elon Musk, we're not freaking traveling to Mars and having someone buy Twitter so that we can become less censored. Without the freak that was, you name it, there's all over the place.
Yeah.
I can only imagine Nelson Mandela. He was a freak. I can only imagine all of them. A picture Gandhi. I promise you, that man had power column individual definition. He just stayed with it. Ra Uruhu, he was strictly individual definition who brought this knowledge onto the plane. So no one escapes, guys. There's no getting out alive. You might as well start to get used to it. Gate by gate, there's a melancholy that goes with each gate that also then comes with the muse. The melancholy and the muse are one and the same. The melancholy is just where the creative creation comes, and the muse is where you're out in the world contributing it to the other, empowering the other. And I'm sorry, individual definition is here to empower the other. That's all it cares to do. It cares to be in communion with and empower the other. And if we don't let this stuff out of you, then you're not empowering people and you feel disempowered. And then you really feel like the rotten version of a freak. You feel like a loser, and that's no good. No good.
Yeah, there is a rotten version. And I think that all of us individuals have felt that rotten version before.
All of us, yes.
Yeah. But the true self version is so much fun.
It is.
Oh, that freakiness is so much fun.
The freedom when you wake up is like nothing else, because almost nothing really matters as it relates to what someone else can try and pigeonhole you into. When you wake up as yourself, the old forces that don't belong there, they start to wash themselves out. I don't know if you've seen any of that yet in your life, Tressa. We're just people that didn't belong daily in your life. They start to be there less. And it's not that we're being mean to them. It's just the chemistry isn't right. The pH isn't right. And they sort of, you wean the baby, sort of, so to speak, to quote.
Yeah, and you wean your own conditioning. And Jennifer understands this because she's my fellow manifestor sister. There is a big conditioning, especially around manifestors, for people to like us. We want to people please because we have a closed and repelling aura our entire lives. People don't like it. They don't like us. We walk into a room and we're the one that makes everybody feel uncomfortable. And so there's this desire and this need to, I just want them to like us. Oh no, you're leaving my life. Please like me, right? I'm done with that conditioning. People fall off and I'm like, don't care. I'm going to inform you what I'm doing. You're gone. Cool. Bye. Enjoy your life, right? So it's,
awake to your nature, it doesn't mean they're not welcome back as themselves.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that happens with an awakening, the awakening process,
Right, Jen, right. The awakening process keeps saying, hey, the sleep people who are asleep and think that all the stupid that's going on overhead is a good idea. We're ready to accept them back as they awaken. I can't say the same in reverse for them.
No, no.
Because
It's hard. You can. I mean, I just through my own personal experience going through an awakening, even those who, are not clued to their human design, just an awakening process in itself, you're going to have people that fall away. And I think even when you do wake up to your human design, quantumly, your atoms are shifting and your vibration is raising. And that's where the friction comes, where people are going to fall off, because vibrationally, you're not a match.
And they don't want that. They want to be the crabs in the bucket that if one crab gets out, the others pull it back in.
Correct. And
that's not us.
The puzzle piece doesn't fit.
Nope. That's exactly right. So think of the freak that brings mutation into the tribe. That freak is very often what both you guys have, the channel of initiation, 5125. That freak warrior is willing to leap, and people look at that and be like, that guy's a freak. He's going to do that, and then the warrior does it. And when they survive, which in our world, the warrior usually survives in our current society because it's not life and death stakes. It's not the life and death version of what the warrior has faced in the past. It can be, but it's not necessarily. And then they bring something new. Bring something new, and suddenly the tribe's gene pool is made more vibrant. Everything is made better, and they incorporate it onto their own. Next thing you know, the tribe is stronger, more viable, richer, more fertile, all of it. Better caring for their young, more secure, and you name it. So we need to get the collective off our back, allow all the tribes and all their individuals to end up equaling the loosely held new 9-centered human being version of a collective. The collective needs to be revamped away from the old authoritarian way that still wants to set up hierarchies and turned into the new way that is like, hey, we're generally the collective. We're going to make sure it's like what government is supposed. The government is a definition of a collective. It's supposed to just make sure, the borders are safe, commerce can travel, a few other basic things. And people always arguing for smaller government. They're right. I mean, they're right. And it doesn't mean small government can't do large things. You have a giant homeless population? Well, let small government freaking dump a bunch of money into the local tribes. They'll take care of it. Empower the tribe. Empower the individual. The individual will empower the tribe. The tribe will take care of the Los Angeles tribe, if they were awake and empowered, could easily be empowered by the collective, not large government, tiny little government that just says, all right, we'll portion off a little bit of money to you. Figure out what to do, submit us a plan, tell what you're going to do, and we're not going to try to control your creative way. We're just going to watch it. I mean, if you screw it all up, we're going to have to step in and say something. But generally speaking, when you let the individual be, you will always get the next new thing, which brings me to why Elon Musk went ahead. I've been watching him ever since we read for him. I've been watching him, that man. He's buying part of why he is purchased Twitter was because it wasn't just for, he recognized what free speech is required for democracy. We need it. It's essential to the democratic way and for the advancement of humanity. What he's also recognizing is if this country homogenizes any further and the whole world goes down this road, where's his talent pool going to come from? Where's he going to get the talent? Because all the people in his company, I can promise you, they're loaded down with individual definition, and he lets their freakness go so that they can figure out how to smash the next atom, how to turn the next polymer into a battery, how to whatever it is they're doing, how to guide the rocket into space better, how to use less fuel, whatever it is they're doing. Nobody comes up with these ingenious, intuitive, insightful knowings without going through the pulse, the individual pulse of creation. It's not there, and then it is. That's the pulse. It wasn't, and then suddenly it was. And that's basically how God describes he created man, right?
Yes.
Hey, y'all weren't there,
And then you were.
TikTok, oh, now you are. So that's basically, right, Tressa? Yeah, that's, I don't know who here, I don't read the Bible a lot.
Yes, I would say you're.
One of y'all does.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's the definition of all of that. And so it occurred to me that Elon Musk is saying, you know what? If we get dumbed down any further, I'm going to have a hard time finding my new talent, because he's aware. He's a freak. He's aware. If I'm a freak, I know I only have my version of freak. I need like 20, 30 others here working on my team. How about 400? How about 2,000? You know, more the better. That Manhattan Project that delivered us the nuclear bomb, which was awful. However, it did end the war. I'm neither for or against it. What I'm just pointing out, that Manhattan Project that was put in the desert, somewhere in Arizona desert, where they had to test all this stuff. Albert Einstein, all those guys that were part of that, they were freaks. Every single one of them. Now, we needed them. You tell me how any of those guys had anything of that looks anything like the definitions that you read off, Jennifer. They don't. They were just people.
Yeah.
In touch with their freaky, with their way to create mutative new things. Mutation is the individual way. No mutation, no new life. We won't make it. We need to be mutative. Yep.
That's so beautiful. And you guys, I am so sorry, but I need to hop off this call.
Thank you for joining us today.
Jennifer, I really appreciate you pulling up that definition. That was just very impactful for me and probably the listeners, because you gave us the ability to redefine that word for all of our freaks out there.
I like a different word. I know we are redefining it.
Yeah.
But the core essence of why the word was created is where I don't like to use the word, because it's a label again at the end of the day. And I like to get out of all type of labels. So that's
I like to mutate the label.
Yes.
I want to transform and mutate the label. And just all of you listeners out there, my name is Tressa Rivera. My Instagram handle is @TranceChangeHypnosis, TRANCE Change Hypnosis. Look me up on Instagram. Danny, I love you. Jennifer, I love you. You guys have a beautiful rest of your podcast, and I can't wait to come back on another time.
Thank you. Love you too.
Thank you, Tressa. Rock on. Hey, we'll talk later.
Bye.
Yeah, I sent her a slide last night, and I was like, have you seen this one yet? Because I knew it was going to be a brain teaser. I figured she hadn't seen it yet. That's why I sent it.
This slide?
No, it's a slide from last night. I was scrolling through some slides, and I was like, oh, Tressa doesn't know this yet, I don't think. So I sent her the slide, so it'll hurt her brain a little bit, and then she'll come back hungry.
There's so much to learn.
Yeah, it was really good. It's and I know she'll hear about it. It's a simple concept. Well, Jennifer, I hear you. You know what? The word freak is hard to sell. We have to come up with things that are, sellable at the same time that we're coming up with what is true. So do you have any words?
I would have to look, because the only reason that I bring it up is because I am studying words, and I'm an alchemist. Well, and we are talking about atoms.
Yep.
And quantum physics says that as soon as you direct the atoms in a specific direction, that is where you're the alchemist. That's quantum doing it. So the word behind it, just like good morning, just like we could go into banks. Bank is another side of a river, but most banking systems do admiral stuff. Well, there's a reason for that, because there's admiral terms. Admiral law in the sea has no law. People are fucked by the money system.
They sure are.
Because they are using labels that the hierarchy systems put in place that use alchemy and most likely dark magic. So we say them and casually want to change the term, but behind the essence of the term still means something.
You're absolutely right. I know difference is a decent word, but uniqueness could be.
Okay. That's better. Uniqueness, or I can say I'm a freak. I get it. I'm just.
No, I hear you. I can feel it. We'll work our way through that. Uniqueness. If someone is incredibly unique out in the world, many people, until they embrace that uniqueness, are going to call it freaky.
Yes. Well, society calls it, and that's where it's the society that's looking at the person. And I guess the reason I looked it up was because I was called a freak for many years, and not in a good way.
Me too.
Tressa hit on it as a manifester. we hold ourselves back because we're breaking out of other people's conditions and stuff. I had to break out of that. That's me having my awakening. So that's why Savannah's actually going to pop on.
Oh, thank God.
Thank God.
Savannah, I'm always enriched when you're handy.
Yeah, my baby, he's my son's helping me with him.
Yep.
But we're on the topic of, you know, the term freak and how it's used in human design. It made me think of, I can't remember who it was, like Galileo or someone who sorry, my son's talking. But take that. Can you be quiet? Okay. Was it Galileo or someone? They used to think that the sun revolved around the earth, and then when someone came, there you go. Yeah, sorry, I couldn't think. And then someone came out and said, actually, the earth goes around the sun. That idea was just like preposterous to so many people, and they labeled him as a freak because it wasn't the conventional norm. And so you can like look back through history and how people who did have that individual definition and wanted to change our ideas and our concepts, like they got persecuted and called freaks. And which true. Now we know like those people were spot on. It's just the collective doesn't like change, and
they don't.
The collective doesn't like the change. So, and who else? The guy who the bacteria caused infection. I can't remember the guy.
Pasteur.
Yeah, or there was that midwife guy, and I'm sorry, my baby.
Just roll with it. We're a family station.
Family station.
Sorry, guys.
It's okay.
The one guy who the women who were pregnant and they were working on cadavers, and then they would go and deliver babies, and then it would make the women get these infections and die. Do you guys remember that?
I'm not sure.
Okay. Anyways, he was saying like we need to stop doing that. Like we're transferring bad bacteria from these cadavers into these women who are giving birth, and no one would believe him.
Washing your hands.
Yes, like he was the one who came forward, like we need to wash our hands. But he got persecuted so bad by the medical community back in the 1800s. Yep. And no, everyone thought he was a freak just because he was speaking out against the collective. Yeah. So I don't know, when I think of the freak in that term, like I don't see it as this negative thing. I just see it as someone who thinks differently than like what everyone else thinks, and
uniqueness, difference,
creativity. When I think freak, I think just different and unique. I don't take it as like a negative connotation, but I could see how people can take it, because sometimes it does have a negative connotation. But I think like in this context of what we're talking about, I don't take it that way. But also one of my friends, she has 2 of the unique channels, and she has a big following on Instagram, and she speaks out a lot against things that what the consensus is in the collective, and she gets a lot of heat for it, and people do call her a freak. Right. And she's more of like a natural health type person. So it's just funny as we're talking about this, like I've seen it play out like on social media.
I have a
her name is Carrie. Her name's Carrie. So she's into like natural health and holistic and things like that. And so
get on something.
I'm sorry, my kids are in the background talking. That's what I was just gonna say. That
Savannah, if you can, it would be nice if you were able to get to tag Jen and I, the Human Design Advantage podcast, and Danny Guru. They're on Instagram, right? Okay, so then, tag us or put us in touch, because I'll follow this person or send them a message. And do you have their design?
Yeah, I do. She, because I talked to her a little bit about it. She has 14.
14-2.
14-2, and then she has the 360.
Oh God, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. She's just a mutative being, yes.
And then she also has the 4323.
Cut the crap. So that's a lot.
Yeah, she's got a ton of that individual definition, a whole bunch of those individual channels. And it's just so cool. Like she's not afraid to speak out against speak out against the collective and where it's wrong and how they should change it. And so it's just cool seeing people's design and then seeing them just expressing that through their social media and influencing the individual to change. And so I kind of take it as a compliment, you know, like
I have a better term that's more suiting to the anarchist. That is the true definition of what y'all are talking about, is an anarchist.
Yes, actually, yes.
Okay,
absolutely.
that's what I mean. Like, I like to find because an anarchist is a person who rebels against authority, established order, or ruling power. I would rather be called an anarchist than a freak, because you said it. And collectively, just from my clearing and helping and work with my clients, we are reincarnation. We are clearing wounds from people ostracizing us for years because we were called freaks. That's the pitchfork thing. And because of my 5-1 profile, I'm used to that. So I would rather be called an anarchist than a freak, because the definition of a freak is what I read earlier, and an anarchist would suit me more in my design. It gives me more sovereignty to me.
I'm down with it. Because that's what the individual will bring anarchy.
Yes.
I mean, and it's fake anarchy, because if the beings around them are awake, they can literally just be like, you brought the mutation, maybe it'll work. Or you brought the mutation, that's great. Or you brought the mutation, you know, it's kind of, it's stupid, but you're not stupid. Or I think it's stupid, but you keep bringing it because maybe there's something I'm not seeing. All of these things are awake people talking rather than finger pointing and shame casting and blame assignment and all of this other. You're just wasting your time. You wasted this. You know what? Go wake up, please. You know, it'll be much nicer. You know, wonder why I don't date. It's no one's awake enough yet. You know, I got to wake people up. It's like I'm gonna have to wake up my next Mrs. Dan for all I know. It's not easy. So
the more I get into human design and we talk, I'm like, you really are. The way you see the collective has got to be amazing. You told me one time it's a gift and a curse at the same time.
Yeah,
and I can completely understand that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I can understand that.
Savannah, do you think you're going to be available later? I know you're going to be burnt out on something, but might you have some time at some point later? Because I know you're 2 hours back, so I'll be up late if you want.
Oh, sorry, one of my kids was talking there.
I'm not sure if you're going to be up later, but I'd be happy to step into lessons number 2, 3, or 4. Just talk through some more things, talk through some charts and so forth, and keep bringing you up to speed. We're going to need you as a reader one day. I hope that doesn't put too much pressure on you. But I mean, if you can't recognize glory and grace, hey, you're perfect. Maybe we'll talk about your kids or something, you know, just to keep the education going.
Yeah, I would love that. I just kind of swamped because my husband is working out of state. So I'm all here by myself, swamped with 4 little generator children with my projector self. So
it's
which is
so
exhausting. Yeah, but no, I love learning it from you, Dan, and how Tressa was talking earlier about you teaching her how to recharge. And I've really appreciated you over the past 2 years learning human design.
It's so much, Tressa.
Yeah, it helps me a ton. And sometimes I feel like I probably don't get it as fast as Tressa does, but human design is just so layered. I feel like if you just get one reading, it's just you have to keep studying it, I feel, in order to like apply it to your life.
Yep. But if the kids go down, when does Jake get home? Does he come back anytime soon?
In a couple days, he should be back. So hopefully then,
yeah,
have more time.
All right. Well, good enough. We'll touch base later and so forth, and we'll just keep the teaching. Let's find new students, guys. Find new students. They'll help us build this thing, And we will go through the next 3 episodes, going through the gates, the melancholies, the various aspects of it, so that people can stop trying to hide from their individual uniqueness, their little inside anarchist, the person inside of them that knows they're the only one that knows this thing, and they're afraid to come out with it. So all of that stuff is individuality, and we need to let it sing. Currently, we're trying to crush it. Not we.
Absolutely.
The collective wants to crush the individual. So anybody watching this, if that pisses you off, it should. Period. It should really sort of just get your blood boiling. They're trying to crush you. So on that note, Miss Jennifer.
I think we had a good show. Thank you, Dan.
Yep.
All right. Anyone that is watching, please make sure you like, subscribe, and follow the show. Thank you for tuning in. We will be live Wednesday night. We don't quite know yet what celebrity we're going to be doing just yet, but stay tuned. Please follow the links down below. And as Dan has said in this video, couple of things. If you are interested in joining our mission and helping share this information out, the entry door is to get a reading from Dan. So you can book that down below. And if you've already had a reading and you would like to have more information on how you can help us grow this, and he can mentor you and teach you how to read human design, please send us a message and let us know. And I can't think of anything else. Again, thank you for joining us.
I think we're done. Thank you, Jen. We did great.
Yes.